Lesson 3 in Module 6 is on solving for unknown angles using equations, which should sound familiar because that is what Lesson 2 was also the title of Lesson 2. So we're doing more of the same. Vertical angles, supplementary angles, complementary angles, and now we're going to add some more, especially those angles around a point where we throw in that 360 degrees. Okay? As always, the more we practice this stuff, the easier it gets. So let's practice. Two lines meet at a point that is also the vertex of the angle. The vertex is kind of the point where they meet. The measurement of AOF is 134. So remember we've talked about in the past, when you see this curve right here, that means this whole thing is 134 degrees from here to here. So we need to set up and solve equations to find X and Y. Now this can look overwhelming because there's all these lines coming out from everywhere. All right, so just take it piece by piece, okay? So if I look right here, right? If I somehow cancel everything out over here, I can see that I know that AOF, that is 134 degrees. That's what it tells me right here, right? So these three angles, this one, and this one, have to add together to give us 134. So that means that 14 degrees plus X degrees plus 90 degrees has to equal 134 degrees. Okay, so again, this one, it's not 90 or 180, but we're going with what we're told. Simplify and solve. I'm going to add 14 and 90 together. I'm going to write as x plus 104. If you wrote 104 plus x, that's fine. Equals 134. Now I'm solving for x, so I'm going to get rid of the 104 by subtracting. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. I bring down my x. This cancels. 134 minus 104 is 30 degrees. Okay? So set up and solve an equation to find the values of x and y. Well, x is 130 degrees. Now let's use that to find out what y is. Okay? So kind of refocusing here. Let's do this. All right. So y is right here. Okay? If we look, okay, and again, fill out as many as you can, I can see right here that this is a straight line, right? And this isn't the only way to do it. But if I look, I have this 134 right here. Let me change colors. 134, this angle right here, and this angle has to make 180, right? Because it's a straight line. Again, you might see something a little differently, but as long as you're working within the realm of what we're working with, complementary, supplementary, all that stuff, it could work, okay? Because you know what x is now. We know x and 90 and y, and we can figure out this is 14 here. Anyway, this is what I'm seeing, okay? From here to here, this angle here is 134. This is y. Together, these two angles form a straight line. So I know that 134 plus y has to equal 180. Why 180? Because it's a straight line. Straight angle is 180 degrees. So I'm going to subtract 134 from each side. That cancels out to give me 0, and I'm left with y, it's a y there, equals 46 degrees. Okay? So x is 30, y is 46. Does that seem reasonable? Yeah, it really does. If I were to get an answer like 200 or something, that wouldn't make sense, right? It doesn't look like it. Doesn't have to look like it. But we know that these all are going to kind of filter, adding up to 180. So it should be well below 180. Okay? Again, rely on those vertical angles. Rely on those angles on a line, right? Okay, so another example here. Set up and solve an equation to find the value of x. Now in this one, we do have a right angle. So I know that this right here is 90 degrees. But I don't have a straight line, and I don't have vertical angles intersecting at a point. Or I'm sorry, vertical lines. Nope, not vertical lines. Just lines intersecting at a point. But I do have the fact that if you put all three of these angles, and what do we mean, by all three? We have this 90-degree angle. We have this angle that's measured with x, and then we have this 123. If you put all three of them together, it forms a circle. and there's 360 degrees in that circle. So I can say x plus 90 plus 123 equals 360. So this is kind of the new one, right? Angles that we talked about in lesson 1. Angles around a point. Simplify and solve. Good news is once we get it set up, we solve it just like we had been before. 90 plus 123 is 213 equals 360. I'm going to subtract 213 from each side. X equals 147. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, because all three of these together have to be 360. All right, one more example. Again, okay, looks like we're going to be dealing around that point. 5 rays. Okay, rays are these lines here. They're only moving in one direction. Meet at a common point, endpoint right here, right? I'm not doing that. As you guys remember from last time, I'm not doing a complete sentence, sorry. But we need to set up and solve this equation to figure out what A is. Now, it really can be confusing because you see these two boxes here. That means from here to here is 90 degrees, but there's an overlap. From here to here is 90 degrees, okay? All right, so we're going to use this idea that they're 90 to figure out what this angle is and what this angle is. So, let me show you what I mean. If we just focus on this right angle right here. Okay, so just focus right there, and I'm going to scribble this out. You guys don't have to do that. Please don't do that. We're going to come back to it, okay? These two angles here have to equal 121. So if I were to go, I'm sorry, these two angles together have to equal 90. This one's 21. So if I go 90 minus 21, that means this is 69 degrees. All right, so now I know this is 69, this is 21. Let's come out here and figure out this right angle. We have this to this is a right angle. That's what this means right here. Well, again, 21 plus what number equals 90 degrees? Well, 21 minus 90, guess what? This is also 69 degrees. By doing that, we have this is 69, this is 21, 69, A, and 143. And since they're all putting together to make a circle, that's 360 degrees. So we can just add them together. I'm going to start with the A, plus 143. I'm just going to go around here. Plus 69, plus 21, plus 69. I think I got them all. That has to equal 360. So I know we've been dealing with 90 and 180. Now we're doing 360. Simplify and solve. So if I add all 4 of these up, that equals 302. Just grab a calculator and do it. And now I'm going to solve for A. So I'm going to get rid of the 302 by subtracting 302 from each side. That gives me 0 equals 58. Okay, so A here is 58 degrees, which totally seems reasonable compared to the other angles. Okay, we're doing more of the same. Okay, we're just kind of throwing now again angles around a point, but still using what we know about complementary angles, supplementary angles, vertical angles to help us find some missing measures.